So we have wellness people. We have people that are just in different kind of CEOs. We have your regular housewives or spouses, whatever, regular people. We gonna call them all. We calling every one of them till we run out of. We have artists, like visual artists.
Right.
You know, like what are the visual artists doing? How are they like coping or taking care of their neighbor? You know, because I think it's imperative that we know like there are certain, everyone can do something. You don't have to have a kind of job to be an activist.
Right.
You don't even have to be an activist to be an activist. Right. Like that's what I'm telling you. Like these people are just regular, and they're all my homies.
Anyway, peace and love. It's the place where we talk about hip hop as a way to improve society and uplift humanity. Happy, as I mentioned, Black History Month. Two amazing guests tonight that epitomize Black excellence. My good friend TK Dutes is going to join us in a few minutes to talk about connecting with community members, community activists, community journalists, and community peoples on the ground in Minneapolis, Minnesota, specifically. TK, of course, a friend of the show. If you know me, you probably know her. Used to run Bonfire Radio along with my man C, Conscious in the Building. I see you, friend. And a great online radio program for many, many years out of Brooklyn, but to the world. And for many, many years, was connecting with folks from around the country in many different ways: arts, creative, politics, civics, all the things. And so we're going to talk about with her live and talk to her about reconnecting with some of the folks in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, on the ground that are going through all the things that we've been hearing about, unfiltered. It's from the people, for the people, of the people, by the people. We don't have to go through corporate. I mean, we don't have to wait till Don Lemon gets arrested to find out what's happening on the ground. Like, we know people on the ground, and I know people that know people on the ground. So we're going to talk about that. We're going a little bit, a little sideways this night. We're not going to just be pure hip hop all the time, 24/7, even though we know hip hop is inherently political. So let me introduce my friend. Her name is TK, Tasty Keisha, if you know her, or if you're nasty. Anyway, whatever. Tasty Keisha, TK Dutes is in the building. Say hi to the peoples.
Yo, what's good, peoples? It's your girl TK. So glad to be here, bro. Thanks for having me on the show. I'm ready. Let's get into it. Whatever you want. I'm ready.
I feel you. That was my rambling intro because the live aspect, you know how, now you a radio vet, you a podcast veteran. You've been doing like on-air radio, like actual real radio, before real radio for real people. So you know how the live thing gets, and doing it with all this technology is wild. So I'm glad it's, like I said, glad it's a friendly face as I try to work this magic. So people in the chat, you hear us, smell us, taste us, feel us, all good, right? Let me know. Let us know in the chat. You can hear me. Hey, I know who that is. That's Mrs. Faces. Don't act like you don't know. I see you, girl. Shouts again to our homie. Why are they doubled? Why is everything doubled? That's weird. See, technology crazy. I put it on the screen, TK. TK can't see the main screen. I'm putting their highs on the screen. Okay, so the reason why we had to talk tonight, and it's funny, we hear so many people complain that, people in certain industries or certain genres don't speak about the issues. And I'm like, there's people in these communities that speak about the issues all the damn time. So I don't know why y'all not talking about us. Like, anyway, let me not start there. Point is that, again, radio veteran, online radio veteran, if you know Bonfire Radio, if you don't know, you missed out. But for many, many years, you led a wonderful community, honestly, an online community through an online radio station called Bonfire Radio. Of course, I'm part of that family. Many, many years, you had a show called TK in the AM, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 1,000+ episodes.
Yes.
Right, over the course of some years. And through those years, you've connected and, contacted and been in, community with so many people, including, as you mentioned when you first started the venture you're doing now, folks that are on the ground in Minneapolis. Why, when Minneapolis hit the news, did you say, oh, I know people in Minneapolis, I need to reconnect with, not that you had fallen off, but I need to talk to my peoples and find out what's going on out there? And then what are you doing to amplify that in the way that you've done so well over the years in amplifying other people's voices and stories?
Yeah, for sure. You know what got me? I was so surprised at how little I knew about what was going on. And I could feel me and C, who, you mentioned earlier, who we did TK and the AM with, and we co-founded Bonfire together, we could feel and sense that our people, they was reaching out to us, but they also probably kind of didn't know how to reach out to us because we stopped doing the morning show. So it's like, I know that these people can amplify, but I don't think they're doing that job anymore. And, but I could feel them kind of like trying to express something to us. Right. So I hollered at C on the side and I was like, yo, do you feel it too? Like, he was like, yeah, right. In Minneapolis, we got to do something. So I just felt really shocked at how little I didn't know about it. Yeah.
Even though you knew people from out there. Yeah. Yeah.
And like literally their day-to-day lives and what was going on. So we decided to do some really brief, no frills check-ins with our people on the ground. Right. And like when we say on the ground, it's really just people that live there, citizens, regular people that are experiencing a time of occupation. Right. Okay. In a way that I don't think living people currently have ever experienced, in our age group, let's say. Right. So I was like, let's just call some homies and see what happens. And we did the first one last week. Yeah.
So you went live on your Instagram. Your Instagram channel, just for the folks, is
at Tasty Quiche on IG. And the deal is me and Conscious are going to take turns. Yep. So the next live will be at AG Trap House, HAUS, but we send all of the posts also to each of our individual feeds, but also to Bonfire Radio and to TK and AM on IG. So they will live there until they can't. I also download them for posterity.
As you should. As you should. Yep.
They can call this internet ish away.
We've seen that in recent days. We've seen what happens when they try to, yeah. Okay. Listen, if you didn't get all that, we'll say it at the end. I'll put them in the chat, or someone put them in the chat if you know all those things. Come on, put them in the chat. I see. Help me out. I don't have a producer here. But we'll give them to you at the end so that you have to know. TK and the AM, Tasty Quiche, Bonfire Radio, AG Trap House. Cool. Just want to get that out of the way because people can be like, oh God, I need to know. And I think that it's interesting because, we hear and see through the corporate media lens. That's like mostly how we get what we get. Like we see whether it's CNN or, whatever, it's probably not other channels that don't show you, or they show you very selective coverage. And even the CNNs, like I'm not caping for CNN either. Like corporate media is going to show you selective coverage and they're going to show you only but so much. You have to go to like the PBS. And of course they're trying to shut that down. So one of the best ways to do this is, like you said, local people on the ground. And what's interesting is, tell me about your first guest that you had on, because we both know her. We both, super in the media world, in the podcasting world, and done some great work. And then also ironically mentioned a local journalist that then came to national attention the very next day. Explain it.
Yeah. So our first guest was Twyla Dang, and she's a colleague of ours, amazing podcast colleague. And she is the CEO of Matriarch Media, which is a media company that focuses on all women content, all women programming. But she also recently won a grant to start open a bookstore in Minneapolis called Book Mother. So that's amazing. She's doing big work out there. Right. So I said, let me call her up and see what's going on. And she's living a regular life. She has kids. So like this is affecting her in a very specific way. So she let us know that, like neighbors are lined up protecting their other neighbors and getting the kids to and from school. Like it's that serious. And I did not know, because like you said, the selective programming, neighbors are looking out for each other. Neighbors, they're taking care of each other's kids. They're making sure the kids have something to do, because if the school is closed because people are too afraid to come out due to, I call them extreme weather agents. You know what I'm saying? Then we got to keep each other safe. So she let us know about that. But then when I asked her about resources, she said, amplify anything you see, amplify Georgia Fort was one of the journalists to Amplify.
Right.
GeorgiaFort.com. Amazing Black woman journalist that has been covering all the things.
Right.
And we said yes. And I've heard, I got feedback right away from people. They said, thank you. I actually put money in Georgia Fort's thing. I wake up in the morning about 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Sent me a message. You sent me a message. Y'all like hit me at the same time.
Right.
It said, Georgia Fort got arrested. Literally, we was talking her up. Georgia Fort got arrested. Don Lemon got arrested.
Yeah.
They're targeting Black journalists now, and forever. But you know what I'm saying? In this time.
Right. Again.
So
as I said to Nicole Carr, who's another journalism head online that people should follow. She posted something. I said, what's old is new again. It's what it is. Yeah.
Yep. We're back.
Yeah.
So that's what happened, man. And I'm just glad that we got to talk about that stuff, have a real lens. So what we're going to keep doing is as much as we want and when we want, because also when you're doing something for community, you can't do it despite yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to do it in capacity, with the capacity you have, and with the skill set you have. The skill set that me and C have, we talk to people. We talk to people, we put it out there. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then the capacity thing, like we stopped doing radio 3 times a week, and we didn't, right now we're not in a place to go back, but we are in a place to, when we feel like it, because social media allows us to hit the button anytime. If you see the live thing light up, we don't go live often, so we don't be bothering people. If you see it light up, we're probably having a check-in and you should come too. You should see what the people of Minneapolis be on.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. What was some of the, and we'll send, obviously go watch the whole thing. What were some of the takeaways from that first conversation?
Well, it was really eye-opening, like I said, about the kids of the community.
Yeah.
Which we always forget. I think we go march and we go do stuff and we forget that, like.
And we see the drama, and it's like, and what's crazy is, and not to cut you off, but like the Alex Preddy murder was right outside of a donut shop, and people who saw it were like getting donuts. like
normal stuff.
Can you imagine like just going to Dunkin' Donuts and be like, I'm going to get 2 donuts. Oh, what's happening outside? And this is what's happening outside? Like this.
Can I imagine?
Well,
now I can.
Unfortunately.
And also, wait, George Floyd got killed in front of a boat. Like, I know it's about
New York, Staten Island.
So many, so many people.
Yes.
Right? Gentleman got killed in front of at a bodega. You know what I'm saying? Like, Yeah. So can you imagine? Yeah, we could.
Yeah, we can. We've kind of been imagining and seeing it. Eric Garner, by the way.
Eric Garner, yes. Thank you.
For sure.
So that was one of the biggest takeaways. And also, we talked about, I'm not going to shy away from stuff, Manny. I wanted to ask a Black person in Minneapolis about being Black in Minneapolis in this time frame of, I call it like white consciousness awakening, right? Because let's be real, I was watching a clip from that dude Deontay Kyle, and he reminded us, he said, in this time that we can remember, something like 150 Black people have been murdered by law enforcement. And it is these two, which atrocious. And also, I hate that I have to give this a disclaimer, right? But you got to give it so you don't, people don't go cut the clip and act like you ain't say nothing. You have 2 white people that got killed in a very horrific, atrocious manner, the same as these other 150 in our most recent memory. And now white people have seen that it's coming to their doorstep too. But the thing is, we saw it Black Lives Matter time, during COVID, 2016. We go back to 2015. We go back to Trayvon Martin. We go back. And you realize now that the actions that are being taken in a white-centered space, everyone thought they were doing enough until it came knocking on their door. Because if we were doing enough, excuse me, if
they were doing enough,
then we wouldn't have taken 150 in most recent history black people to be dead for you to realize they're coming for you too.
Right.
So she answered that, and I appreciated she and she lives there, so it's also a different lens. You still got to live. You have to commune with people, and she reminded us as people, and also us black people, like, do what you can, but don't do anything that's hazardous to your health.
Yeah, fact.
And if that means staying inside, you have to let other people do all that other stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, talk about the onus has been on white people to actually do the work for a minute. So
yes, I'm like, not a nary a book got read, Manny.
I know.
Giving the book list out. You were there for the book list.
I got the books.
You got the books.
I did the books. And me personally, yeah. But so okay, let them put in my cousins. We trying though. We're trying to talk. Thanksgiving. That being said, so I forgot my question. Okay, why Minneapolis? Why did this place touch you personally, and why do you know people in Minneapolis? This is weird. I don't know anyone in Minneapolis except Twilight Dang. I don't even know it's LinkedIn. I don't know anybody out there. Although isn't giant steps, right? There's a whole. Yeah. Tell me about some of the connections you had, and to why. Two things. Okay, I remember what I was going to say. So let me say this real quick. I really appreciate that you did this because there are people who just get their news and information from whoever they follow on social media. And that's for good or for bad. I don't blanket downplay social media and the scourge of, no, because you know what? There are people out there that are doing this. Twyla's been on social media. Georgia Fort's been on social media. We talk about her Substack, that's social media in a way. So it's not necessarily the worst part, but a lot of it is processed and, clipped. Like you said earlier, watch the clip. The clip could be clipped in a way that isn't accurate or, with integrity.
You
got to say it right. But what you're doing is saying, I'm just going to talk to the person. I'm going to horse straight from the source and let it get out there. And it reminds people that if you don't like mainstream media, I don't even watch the news. Crazy take, if you ask me.
Right.
But I understand because the news is manufactured, to make you, I always tell people, look, if you got to watch the news, turn on CNN and watch the first 8 minutes. You'll get a general idea of all that's happening, and then go before they get into the let's have both sides talk. I don't need the arguing in the crossfire kind of thing. But the first 8 minutes will tell you do I need to take shelter right now or not? Right. So there's that. But what you're doing is saying, I'm going to go straight from the source. And I just want to encourage people to understand, because I come from a journalism world. You come from a, radio/journalism world. The insight, the perspectives that you really need to have are out there. Mm-hmm. They're the people. They're not hiding. Twyla's not quiet. Georgia Fort wasn't quiet. They were out there. Even a Don Lemon with his independent media was in the mix reporting. Yeah. So it's important to do that. I just think that what you're doing is so important to remind people that the people exist. Not everyone has an ulterior, the media. Georgia Fort is media.
Yeah.
TK is media. You're media just by your existence and by the fact that you can recount what's happening to an audience.
And I think I wanted to do it, and I think I wanted us to do it, me and C together, because it brought us back to where we ended, right? Mm-hmm. We ended actually during COVID.
That's right.
In that time. So it brought us right back. I'm like, yo, you know what?
You had people on the ground over there as well. You did this already.
Yeah. We're going to pop in. To remind us that we can, that we should, and to remind people it ain't nothing but a phone call. It ain't nothing but a check-in. Right. It ain't nothing but telling someone, okay, listen, it's like we doing a public FaceTime.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is dial a number and let the people listen.
Yeah. Yeah. So
we could all be journalists, honestly.
I mean, we all are to some degree. Again, and the ones with no agendas, we prefer. You know what I mean? Right. With the one that have some kind of objectivity and journalistic integrity, it's preferable. But you exist and they exist. So I'm happy to say, again, why Minneapolis? How did you get to become friends with so many Minnesotans? How random.
How random. And I don't care. I love going outside, so that's part of it.
Oh, we know. Your podcast will tell you about that.
Facts.
We'll shout that out at the end.
That made me also, that brought me closer to Minneapolis, my own podcast,
right,
on The Secret Life of TK Dutes, because it took me on a journey there, which kind of like put them in my psyche.
Okay.
So then with them in my psyche, I was like, who do we know? And the real person that started this web is actually going to be on the call with Conscious tomorrow. He's doing a Minneapolis live. Okay. Her name is Susan Campion.
Oh, yeah.
And she is of Giant Steps, a conference for social awareness, and really wonderful, bringing people across the globe together. And she's the web. And then Susan brought us all these other people. And Twilight happened to meet in podcasting, but then, whoop, all atoms collide. And now you have a universe of amazing people in Minneapolis that we're going to talk to about wellness. That we have a wellness friend out there. We're going to talk to, I'm going to do my best to try to get Nicole Crowder, who was on my show.
Oh, yeah.
Try to get her, because she's also a member of the media in a different way, but she is very much so taking this seriously. So I really want to hear what she has to say. So we have wellness people. We have people that are just in different kind of CEOs. We have regular housewives or spouses, whatever, regular people. We're going to call them all. We calling every one of them till we run out of, we have artists, like visual artists.
Right.
Like what are the visual artists doing? And how are they like coping or taking care of their neighbors, Because I think it's imperative that we know, like, there are everyone can do something. You don't have to have a kind of job to be an activist. Right. You don't even have to be an activist to be an activist. Right. Like, that's what I'm telling you. Like, these people are just regular. and they're all my homies.
Right.
And we know them because we kept going back.
Right.
If you're nice to us one time, we gonna keep coming back. Why keep coming back to your house, Manny? All the time to Atlanta. Keep coming back to your house.
Come through anytime. That's it.
Yeah, don't let nothing pop off over there. I'm in front of your house with the microphone. We're in front of Manny Faces' crib.
I know it. And likewise, I'll be back at BK, with some people, because, we got people. And matter of fact, this is a funny shout to Bob Knutson, who's checking in from Wisconsin. He goes, I made it home. I was listening the whole way. Knowing folks all over comes in handy. Wisconsin here, but hoping I'm not an on-the-ground reporter for anything anytime soon. But
if you have to,
and you know what? I know Bob, and he will, and he's actually working with, people running for office out there in Wisconsin, and so that's another way. You don't have to be an activist, but you can be like volunteer for a campaign for somebody you think could make change. There's so many ways to get involved that, sometimes you can't or don't want to or don't know how to put your life on the line or, be out there in those streets, and there's people that are down for that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I guess everyone plays a part, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He says, thanks for doing this work. I'm live and direct. We're doing live this time, y'all. Hip Hop Can Save America with my friend TK Dutes, Tasty Quiche, if you're nasty. Hashtag Jazz Jackson. Longtime radio and podcast vet. And she's like, I'm trying to be professional now, man. You stop with the old nicknames.
No, we could do. Listen, I appreciate when someone says it with their whole chest, Tasty Quiche, because I had to shorten it because people couldn't say it with their whole chest.
Right. That's it.
So, and people want to make up their own. They want to infer on and I'm like, don't infer, just ask.
Just ask. Just open your mouth and ask. She'll tell you. She'll tell you. So you had some connections to Minneapolis. You've been out there a few times, and you wanted to make sure you're connecting with the folks on the ground. And I think that's, like I said, it just lets us know that we do have people everywhere, and we can get to the source. And it's important to get those perspectives without filtering it through a, corporate media lens, which is super important. Let's do it while we're there on the topic. You then recently, well, not so recent, but a little bit recently, went back for another reason. And you just kind of mentioned it. You do have a podcast of your own. This is not why we brought you on. You wanted to talk about the work you're doing and the amplification, but I'm going to amplify you and give you your flowers for the. And I did. I've done it in the newsletter, by the way. I've shouted you people out because I'm a little bit biased. I work on this show with you, but even if I wasn't, I think is a remarkable piece of. I don't want to say content. It's media. It's media. It's journalism. It's oral history. It's all these wonderful things, these experiences that you've gone through. Tell us about the secret life of TK Dutes and why, even if you don't like podcasts or if you do like podcasts, or why people should be tuning in to this recently released beautiful piece of art that you're putting out to the world.
Thank you. Wow. Okay, well, I'll tell y'all what it is first. Because you hit me with that. I'm like, damn, bro.
I know.
It's my journey. It's a girl's journey through burnout and reclaiming life through art, creativity, community, adventure. What's on the other side, right? What happens when you stop living life on everybody else's terms and just start doing you? And I've been learning that doing me is what I should have been doing the whole fucking time. And it takes a lot of work to get there because we're conditioned in a way, right? We're conditioned to respond to certain rewards, and I'm not exempt from that. I am conditioned, not was. I'm working on it. I said God is working on me every day, and I have been working super hard to rewire my brain, and this podcast is helping me rewire my brain. So like that first episode takes you through what had happened, right? And I think the burnout story is something that a lot of people can, we all have that in common.
Yeah.
And then if you have been watching the news or and you don't have to watch the news to know, ask any Black woman, the rate that Black women have been pushed off the glass cliff in work settings from your local McDonald's to your highest corporate entity to Google. Right? It's atrocious. And I said, like, yo, I don't have to live like that. So the podcast is me not living like that anymore.
Right. 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 And it's also like a wild leap of faith. A little bit. Not that you just said like, I'm going to go out in the world because it's very travel oriented. It's very, when you say you're taking folks on the journey with you, it's not just like you sitting and reminiscing in a room by yourself. Like what I love about the show and what you do is like you literally went outside and you literally went places and you've done things and gotten perspectives that folks who are in similar situations stuck in that chair might not get the opportunity to do. And that's fair. Not everyone can just do that. It was, like I said, big risk for you personally to say, I'm going to kind of leave the corporate world and go kind of out on my own and become a, independent company owner. You own a company, you make podcasts, but you're going to like do it from the road a little bit, and say, I'm going to see what this life really has for me.
Yeah.
And not everyone can do that, but I think it's important that everyone could be inspired to maybe not fully, but to know that this is possible.
Possible. Yeah.
And what might come if they do. And how important it is to just realize that you don't have to be trapped.
You got to bet on yourself, bro. Like you got to bet on yourself because like no matter what, okay. I want to say one thing. You said, well, I want to say a couple things.
Let's go.
Leaving the corporate world. I'll tell you, the corporate world left me. They left me a long time ago. They never, like that's, you'll find that.
Yep.
You wasn't showing me no love a long time ago. So once you get over that,
right.
You're like, wait, so if I'm waiting to be wanted, accepted, loved, insert corporate, insert family, insert friend group, insert all these things. If I'm waiting, then nothing's happening, right? So that's why we just keep doing shit. Nobody was hiring me to do news about Minnesota. I'm doing news about Minnesota, right? So nobody's going to put TK on a fucking show. I'm going to make a fucking show. So,
right.
So like, it's either you stay home or you go outside. And I decided to go outside, right? Like if I wasn't going to get paid, I was going to be broke anyway. So might as well have fun being broke.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. If I'm going to be broke, I don't want to be sulking all the time. That's crazy.
Yeah. let's do it.
There's so many lessons in this podcast. I think for everyone. I think you mentioned earlier, as a Black woman, you have a different perspective than non-Black women, whatever position, whatever identity or positionality like you're putting forth. Why is it even more urgent for folks that identify the way you do to hear what you're saying?
And also, I was just saying, before I go there, I've heard from everybody too.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. This is not a gatekeeper, podcast. Yeah, for sure.
This ain't that, and it's just I
get stuff from you.
Yeah,
oh my God,
and you're our first line of defense. Like if you listen and you have a certain kind of response, I know that is going to work for everybody.
This is a Gen Pop show, for sure. And I don't want, Bob Knutson just said, I just subscribed, and Bob Knutson, you're going to be blown away. And the perspectives are so valuable to anyone with the kind of, mind that we should have just to listen to other people. But I know there's a sense of urgency for y'all.
Yeah. For us, for Black women, for Black people, I always talk about it's, for Black people, and the more marginalizations, the more intersections you're marginalized by, you start to feel more and more things. And I think it's really important because we keep trying to, and we've been conditioned, and our family, our parents, our ancestors, they had to go through certain conditions, so they're scared for us. And I'm here to say, thank you for the training. We don't have to live like that anymore. We don't have to live in fear of what happens if I don't get this? What if they don't understand? Or what if I don't do my hair a certain way? Will they take me seriously? Well, then they don't take you seriously. You don't want to work there. You don't want to be in love with that person. You don't want to be in that family. If the place or the people or the group don't accept you, this is what I'm trying to say to folks. We have been conditioned. We need to work on deconditioning, unconditioning, whatever the word is, fam.
Right.
And I think that is really important for us, and it's important to live by example. And I'm so blessed to know so many people that have tried different things, whether it's in their parenting style. I learned from them. I'm literally trying to decolonize my mind through so many avenues that sometimes I be spinning, bro. I'm phew, because man, I'm okay, so awesome. I don't even have kids, but damn, I learned some shit from you. And I'm well, that means somebody's looking at me outside and they learned some shit from me. So what's stopping you?
Yeah. Yeah, that's brilliant. There's so many levels. You'll learn that lesson, which has nothing to do with the content in the show, but you learn that mindset that you're talking about by listening to that show. So please, everybody, I don't care who you are, where you are, what your lifestyle is, or what you do with your private time. The Secret Life of TK Dutes should be on your playlist. And so, like I said, I'm a little bit biased because I know you, I love you. But I'm also I admire you, and I understand so much more having listened to you take all of your multiple experiences, radio vet, podcast vet, storyteller, host, friend, lover, daughter, sister, all the things. You have an incredible assortment of experiences and background and perspectives that you just know how to put together in this magical, mix. And so I love it. And
not for lack of help. You're included, and
sure.
You be putting that sauce on it, and every person that touches the show,
right,
has made it so special because every episode is different because of that person, because of the gang.
For the podcast nerds out here, for the media nerds, real quick on the production. And by the way, you've been acclaimed for this idea. You've spoken at conferences. You're speaking at
On Air, which is a big audio festival in Brooklyn this month, right? This month, February, right? Yeah, February.
So you're being acclaimed, right? So you're being acclaimed for this again, you have all these experiences. You could tell a story, but you're telling it in a way that's a little bit unique in the podcast and radio world. And just to give you flowers on that, and I'm part of it, so I'm going to take some credit there too. But the mix that you're putting in is that each episode is produced by is put together by a different producer. So you're the sort of executive producer. But and we see this in TV. We talked about this. We see it in TV where like you have a series and it's director, and sometimes it's like Jason Bateman directing this episode of Ozark. Like, oh, he's directing now? Like, but that changes the vibe a little bit of the show. It's the same show, but the vibe. So tell folks what you're doing by incorporating these other producer voices, and also why is that so, and take your own flowers. Why is that revolutionary in this format?
Usually podcasts and a lot of media is made by like one person, right?
Or a set team. Team. Right. Same people.
It's not changing.
Right.
For the whole, or for the season, or for the whole run.
Right.
In this scenario, you know, especially in podcasting, it's very like set team, one producer, one host, one executive. So it literally could be a team of like 3 or 4 people.
Sure.
This is a team of, I don't know, I think if I count it all up, 12, maybe 10, 12 people. Each episode has its own producer. We have 7 episodes. And each of them bring their own stuff. So yeah, it's my story, but it's not my story only. And because if you listen to episode 1, Kristen Bennett produced that. She put her foot in it because she was going through very similar things at around the same time. Right. We have our episode 2, Trey Jones. He just, you'll know. When you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's a sensitive creature. And I was like, I need a sensitive creature to bring us down from all that drama. And I need someone with a light touch that cares a lot about the conversation that I was having with Nicole Crowder about our right as a people to sit, as our right to comfort. Right. So then, you keep going on episode by episode by episode, and each producer like fucking puts their whole thing in it.
Yeah.
Like I got an episode down the line that is about just kind of like, I'm doing medical tourism, but what has medical tourism brought up for me as a woman of a certain age? Right. And what does that bring up for my producer as a woman of a certain age, helping a woman of a certain age? Right. So now you have 2 of us trying to figure out life. And she's different than me, right? We have to answer that question in the episode of, you have kids, I don't. How are we doing this together? Because we touch on that, and I'm not afraid to I think a lot of people try to get someone that matches them exactly to produce their content, and I'm like, no, we could be different, and
maybe should be,
should be different,
right.
Because they hit me with angles that about my life I didn't even know.
Right.
So that's what makes this so different, important, I think, challenging, and also lots of fun.
Yeah. I also think and I think what's cool is that just that sort of baseline, that foundation of it's okay to have people to bounce things off of that aren't necessarily, and I'm not all kumbaya, like we can all be peace in the world, but what we talk about here a lot, and I talk about, hip hop and the idea that the peace, love, unity, and having fun, that the hip hop cipher involves anybody from anywhere at any time can come into the cipher. And if you respect this culture, you respect this circle, I'll hear from you. I'll see what you're doing. I may not, that's not how I do it, but hold on. That's interesting. Show me what you're doing, because we respect the same core principles, and we could tie all that into, it's transferable skills. It's transferable perspectives, right? And
that's the umbrella, the transferable skills and perspective,
right?
Because not every person on this team knows all the same things.
Right.
It also everyone works differently. So I'm catching up to them, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So now I walk out of, let's say I want to get a job as super duper executive producer, TK.
Yeah. I like it.
And the people go, well, what experience do you have? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, have you ever managed 13 people. I was going to say Memphis, but
Right.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Have you ever had to do that?
Right.
And come out with a good product?
Oh, yes.
I have.
Come on now. And how many times the executive producer has churn underneath, like people come and go, but you still got to maintain the thing and do the thing. It has to be flawless every time.
The thread has to continue. It has to be understandable. It has to, the thing that comes now has to be attached to the thing that came before it. And so does the thing that came before that.
Right.
And then there's stuff in the middle because of course I can't not.
Right.
Right. So it's a very, also the part of the experiment is just it's a very living, it's a live show.
I mean,
a living thing.
Our man said it in the chat. Organic, AZ Trap House, organic. It's the true meaning of organic. And I want to. We went long. I gotta do this interview.
You gotta do it. You got
Lyrical Faith. We got to do a couple of news bits because I need you for the hip hop news that isn't about dumb shit. But let's just say real quick, the idea of it, being organic. How much of this did you learn? I got to bring it back to the core here.
Yeah.
From being a hip-hop head in New York City's independent hip-hop scene, running bonfire shows, more bonfire, shouts to more bonfire, shouts to the independent showcases you used to host and run, shouts to the radio station. This is a hip-hop mentality you're coming from among all the other influences. But tell the people real quick why, when you hear Manny say, yo, hip-hop teaches us to do all of this. Tell me why I'm right. Hip hop birthed me, and hip hop taught me everything I know. And I take the tenets of hip hop into everything I do, and I take it very seriously. And what does every show need, hip hop or otherwise? A stage manager. What does every show need, hip hop or otherwise? A host. What does every show need, a hip hop or otherwise? A producer. And the shows that I happen to be brought up on are hip hop shows. Okay, hip hop on the radio, live events. We plugging in wires. We making sure shit is happening, and it hits at blank PM every time. What did our show? Our show, More Bonfire, the event. We weren't late. We were run like the armed forces, right? We gonna start at 10 o'clock. Get into it, right? We're gonna do an open mic. I'm gonna be 3 steps ahead of you every freaking time, right? I bring all that. The radio station, how many shows do we have at any given point? At any given point that you asked us, well, how many shows we were managing? Maybe 10 to 12. That's right. Because people don't understand. The radio station you ran, it wasn't just your show. It was like 10. I was one of the shows. I was 2 of the shows. I was 3 of the shows. But you had mad people to manage. This is freestyle. This is cypher mentality. Yeah. This is all the things that we learned from being in these sessions.
COVID happened, bro.
Come on. Pivoted.
We pivoted and we plugged in. We were one of the earliest people to sound decent when COVID hit because we figured out how to get y'all live broadcasting from the crib without it sounding crazy when everyone else was sounding what? Crazy. So you know what I'm saying? What is that? Right. That's hip hop. We gonna figure it out. We're gonna break the turntable. We're gonna make the thing go. We're gonna scratch the record, and we're going to figure it out.
That's right. We're going to remix it. We're going to smack it, flip it, rub it down. Yeah. We're going to turn it inside out, and we're going to make $1 out of 15 cents. We're going to do all the things, all the cliches that come from that mentality is the proof is in the pudding, man.
And it all comes from one more thing about hip hop in terms of hip hop, and it's everything about it.
Yeah.
It's a culture groomed by people that never learned officially from someone.
Yes.
And in none of these areas did I ever learn from someone first. I didn't have a mentor in none of that shit. I made a lot of mistakes. Yep. I think about those mistakes every day. So now as I get better and more adult in this show, I'm making less mistakes. I'm probably making mistakes that y'all can't see, but hip hop taught me because hip hop just had to go and figure it out too.
That's right.
Right.
Yep. There's also even in the mistakes, even in the failures, or even in the experiments, or even we can do this for a little while until they figure it out and then they capitalize off of it. which happens all the time for black folk in general, for hip hop folk as well.
For sure.
The pioneers, we invent the thing, you do a thing, you make it right, and then they say, oh, first they say no. First they say, get out of here with that. We're going to combat it. And then when they realize they can't, it's like, if you can't beat them, join them, then they take it over and they capitalize off of your brilliance. And then you have to do the next thing.
That's what I'm so scared of, Manny, because I think a lot of us have been through this iteration of, you know, we iterate many things. And I'm very, I hate to, you know, I don't want to live in this moment, but I'm scared that this show is going to be, you know, people are going to recognize it for what it is and what it's giving. And then someone's going to come behind me and they're going to see the mistakes and they're going to iterate. They're going to make it better. And instead of making it better with me, they're going to make it better without me. And I'm so scared of that happening, but we push on, you know? Yeah,
I hear you. I know you, and you'll just, by the time they do that, you're going to be doing the next brilliant thing. That's how it goes. And, you know, and maintaining and succeeding and thriving. And you know what? You know,
they can try it. All these people, they can try it, but they'll never have the sauce. You know, they'll never have the juice.
Yeah. Let them know where they can find everything, all the end of interview things that we've done for 20-something years. Let them know how to follow you and all that stuff. And then let's do a couple of news bits together. And then I'm going to play this wonderful interview that I have to preview this next thing.
Let's do it. Okay, bet. You can find the show, The Secret Life of TK Dutes, all places where podcasts are. The episodes are there, they're coming, and they're just like a real-time journey. So just come with us on this journey. Yep. And even the stuff in between are important to the story. So go ahead. If you want to keep up with us on our Minneapolis thing, on our Minneapolis check-ins, you can follow me at Tasty Keish, Keish. That's how you spell that. Or at AG Trap House, that's my creative partner. And if you don't have time to catch us on live at any point, you can find the replay. We will always push it to Bonfire Radio's IG, BOND, Bonfire Radio, or TK in the AM. Right. So that's why you don't let go of your socials, because you might come back and use them again.
That's right.
Right now.
That's right. Well, Lord knows y'all are so ahead of your time. Bonfire Radio shall rise again. I say it now, and I've said it for a while. 100%. Shouts to Wild Eyed Bob Knudsen in the building. Of course, he subscribed. He's checking out your podcast. He's gonna love it. AG Trap House, our man C, said, in real time, we built and ran a radio station for a decade, which is crazy. Again, ahead of your time. And you know that I've always, been the loudest cheerleader, and Bonfire Radio will rise again. Even if not in its form, it still stays alive in you and see, and what y'all doing with Minnesota check-ins and coming on here, and doing this. And shouts to Miss Obando, of course, who says it's what makes us all vulnerable, but you put the footprint down and no one like you. And so you're getting we recognize what you do out here. And once again, AG Trap House said, no guidebook. No guidebook. There's never a guidebook, which makes the most beautiful things when it's just, from the people, by the people, of the people. You know what I mean? So thank you, TK. I love you and C and all the work that y'all done. I've just been so honored and privileged and humbled to be a part of y'all brilliance over these years. To see it continue, obviously in the work that we do together. We've done a few projects together, so my bias is on full display. But I dare you, peoples, listen to this podcast and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. Don't tell me that I'm blowing smoke up TK ass. Come on now.
Nah. Don't make him a liar. Go listen to the show, guys.
Go listen to the show. And you come back and you tell me if I'm leading you wrong. I never lead y'all wrong.
Manny Faces. You sick for this one.